A2CN Live, you know it's our favorite time. Turn it up and listen up and let's go take a dive. It's the show that does the most, and yes, we're streaming coast to coast. Bump it up and buckle up and let's go take a drive. Engaging the culture and spreading our sense. Too many reasons we gotta speak in 3 days. Heroes, you still relevant. For college students, ladies and gents, relating, connecting, reflecting, very thought-provoking. Acts to life, yeah, that's right. A2CN Live right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to A2CN Live. I'm Steven, your host for today. A2CN is an online Christian organization reaching college students everywhere. We're creating content and community for students to talk about God, the Bible, and life over the internet. And today I'm joined by my friends Byron and Isaiah. Hello guys. Good evening. Good to have you here. And we're having them for a special episode of A2CN Live. We're going to hear from them about their story of their friendship spanning 30 years? A lot of years.
A lot of years.
Basically, this story is a modern-day prodigal son story that involves them growing up together like brothers, Byron striking out on his own for places like Vegas, only to return about a decade later. So, really excited for that. Byron is also a rapper-songwriter, so he'll be performing a couple songs that came out of this story that we're about to hear. You can find Byron and his album Reclaimed Souls on Spotify, so please be sure to search for that. We're going to kick things off with a song. Byron's got a song for us, so I'm going to hand it over to Byron.
Thank you. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, this song is called That's Me. This is just a little reflection that I wrote on just my struggle with my faith. Coming from a place where I came from, as you'll hear. So this is That's Me. Death is crawling at the door, but I know you defeated it. So I place my trust in you, 'cause of victory, I live in it. Yeah. Got the good book in my left, a joint in my right, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. My left is covered in dark, my right tends to stay light, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. I carry my baby in my left, and these scars I got to talk, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. I've been facing my demons, talking God back and forth, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. A ton of cash can buy me dreams, empty so it always seems, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. I know God's planted the seed, half of me ain't wanna heed, what you know about it, yeah, that's me. And if I choose death over living, know that I'm living in heaven, what you know about it, yeah, that's me. I've been feeling good recently, visions of what I wanna be, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Hey. I was putting miles on my life, boning one spare in my trunk, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. Can't believe I avoided death, know the Lord held me close, and what you know about it, yeah, that's me. Yeah, half of me is really crazy, but that's just it. We all be crazy, headbanging, zombie ringing, turn to I be swinging. Born rebellious, chose the rebellion, but if I do it, then I do it for my God Almighty. Yes, I'm struggling to pursue Him each and every day, and I see all the people around me who love me and pray. And every day I lift a pen, I write a tune, I hear the boom and fill the room, time's new. And this rap thing got me pushing all these stories out. Half of me, my other personality of a broken me, of a past a shout. But I have visions of a better me. But what you know about it, yeah, that's me. I feel alive and so come alive. So please pray for me. Sometimes I feel like dying, living this tyrant. So please pray for me. I got that fire, Holy Spirit come abide. So please pray for me. But in my weakness is where you are strong. Please be my might and give me Christ. So please pray for me. Yeah.
Man, wow. I love that song. Well, thank you guys again for being on the show tonight. I want to start it off just tell us a little bit about yourselves. Tell us about your background, where you grew up, how you grew up, was church in it at all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I came from a very unstable family. I saw a lot of family violence growing up from early on. My parents, they separated when I was 10 years old, so like fourth grade. So I moved around a lot, back and forth from mom to dad since then. I didn't have any stable adults in my life, so I didn't really have much motivation to do well in school, and I had pretty low self-esteem. And I went to church starting around elementary that's when I met Isaiah, actually, elementary school, and then youth group later on, right? And I actually made my decision to become a Christian after a mission trip. It was a very memorable mission trip that we went on in 9th grade. He was in 8th grade. And during this time, I remember making that decision to follow God. But I remember going home and just living this double life, you know, throughout high school. I went to church, but I also did a lot of rebellious things with friends outside of the church.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much polar opposite of Byron, pretty much. My dad's a pastor. I grew up in a very comfortable, stable home. A lot of older people in my life to look up to. Kind of a typical church kid, you know, a little entitled, a little obnoxious, probably.
Another type.
And I became Christian in middle school about the same time as Byron.
Wow, cool. We actually have a childhood photo of you guys, so can we see that?
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Much has changed.
We aged well.
Yes, a lot of big changes.
My hair grows down this way now.
Yeah. yeah. Big changes. All right, so you guys came from pretty different backgrounds, as we heard. How did you guys become friends?
Yeah, so when I first came to our church, I met Isaiah through the kids program there. And so we just spent a lot of time together. We would just do random stuff. Like, I remember one memory I always have is this building forts out of all the extra chairs in the back, and we would make these forts and then be like, who goes there, you know? And then I remember I'd always go to Isaiah's place because more than just hanging out with him, I think I just really liked being around his family. They were just a nice family, right? You know, Pastor Ed and Kelly, right? And so I would always hang around listening to Isaiah's dad tell stories. Yeah, I remember he would tell this story when I was sleeping over one night. This story on this famous warrior named Byron Isaiah. He used our first names of our names, right? We had a friend named Chris too who was with us. So Byron Isaiah,
wow.
right? And it was this kung fu warrior or something, right? And he defeated like 5,000 men, right? And then I also, remember, just reading Calvin and Hobbes. I got into Hardy Boys. I got him into reading Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Star Wars fan.
Yeah, he's a big Star Wars fan, right? And shooting hoops too. We played in his little arcade hoop in the garage. Isaiah would always beat me in the arcade b-ball, stack up all those points, but you couldn't beat me in the real courts.
Never won
though.
a real basketball.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so it was that. I mean, we just had fun doing whatever. I think, honestly, like, the primary way we related was, like, violence. So we'd box, we played bloody knuckles, we'd wrestle. We just had this game where we'd just punch each other on the arm as hard as we could and then take turns doing that until someone gave up. So that was fun for us.
Dude, nice. Well, you guys talked about becoming Christian around the same time, middle school, high school sort of thing. We actually have a picture from your guys' youth days, so.
Oh, man.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and big changes. So tell me a little bit about youth days. Tell me about that moment you guys both became Christian.
So we became Christian at the first Mexico mission trip that we went on. It was Mexico trip 2003.
Wow.
I was in 9th grade. Isaiah was in 8th. And I remember after that trip, we just were really on fire. Like, we really wanted to be on fire for God. And, I got so serious about my faith that I even skipped a family trip to Hawaii so that I wouldn't miss church.
Wow.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
It was an awesome time. I mean, it was this weird situation when we first came to the youth group where it was like, it was considered uncool to be Christian at our youth group, at our church.
That is weird.
Yeah, it was weird. And then that was sort of the pivotal moment when a lot of us, we finally started taking our faith seriously, and it just ignited something. And I think we were just all excited every week to come and see each other and learn about God, study the Bible. We got really just got really close. I remember on our own initiative without the youth leaders or anything, we gathered each other and we would just confess our sins and pray for each other. And we were that serious.
Yeah.
And it was a really awesome time for that 2-year stint.
Wow. Yeah. It really seems like you guys were close, and then just this whole thing that happened with your faith that got you guys even closer, right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome. But unfortunately, it didn't stay that way, right? Byron, part of your story is you started getting pulled away from the faith. You eventually left church, right? So yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so yeah, around like senior year of high school, that's when I was just not coming out to our youth group as much anymore. Because by this time, I was actually living with my dad only, and he was in China most of the time for business trips. So
Yeah.
I was just left alone a lot. And I remember senior year too, I had a girlfriend. I was missing school. I was writing false doctor letters.
Wow.
I was busy just partying and drinking and just doing those kind of things, you know.
Yeah.
And then I remember when college hit, I just wanted to just do my own thing. I just like, okay, I'm free now, right? Even though, yeah, like, and staying at church just felt like a huge burden to me because of it, I felt like it got in the way of what I really wanted to do. I didn't want God in my life, and so I could just live however I wanted to. And somehow I convinced myself, you know, somehow that God just wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then I left. And I remember that time, the day that I left, I remember thinking and really struggling with leaving, actually, because I knew that if I made this decision to just leave, then I know things would probably never be the same again, right? But I think I just came to a point where I just didn't care anymore, even though I knew there's so many people at my church that cared and loved me, right? Somehow I even convinced myself that the church became my enemy when it really wasn't the case. You know, what it boils down to is that I just wanted to live my own life. Yeah.
Wow, that's really well put. I mean, like Isaiah, you're seeing Byron go through that whole thing, right? And that must have been really hard. So, I mean, what was going on in your mind when Byron
Yeah.
left?
Yeah, it was honestly it was pretty crushing. I think I think all of us, we had envisioned a future of ourselves, like growing up and continuing to do what we're doing, like build a church together and do Christian life and like be missionaries. And actually, at that time, it wasn't just Byron, but a lot of our old friends walked away during that time. I'd say like maybe half.
Yeah.
I just remember being really depressed. I think in retrospect, I might have actually been depressed. I remember freshman year, there were days where I just like didn't want to get out of bed thinking about everything that had happened. And I think it left me in a place where I was just a little bit like cynical about relationships and like how that could last and kind of everything that had happened in the past 4 or 5 years. So yeah, it was definitely pretty rough.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that's an experience that a lot of people have going from youth to college, right? Like just that fervor and that zeal that you had in youth. You know, something happens in that transition to college. So, man, I think a lot of people out there can relate. Back to Byron, like, you know, you're going down this path. Tell me what it was like and where it led you.
Yeah, I remember, that day I left the church, I feel like that was like the first bad choice I made that led to millions more after that. I remember right after I left, I just started living for life experiences. That just was what I wanted to do. I started living this reckless lifestyle. Just wanted to like, you know, travel, have fun, party, and do whatever I want. And so I actually started chasing this fast lifestyle that you often see in hip hop or whatever, in media, whatever, right? And I got involved, unfortunately, with the wrong people. I started doing things I never thought I would do, like trafficking drugs, so that I could live this fast lifestyle, you know, all the while chasing my dreams to become a famous music video director in Hollywood. Crazy dream, right? And that lifestyle actually, it just became a little too reckless, because I found myself living a life on this edge where I was often high off cocaine or ecstasy almost every day. I overdosed at least twice on a drug binge.
Wow.
One of those times I could have really died. You know, I remember waking up from the hospital with tubes and needles. And, you know, things like drinking and smoking weed became a regular, everyday thing, 24/7 thing for me. Until one day, I just felt like I had enough. And that was the day that was in Vegas. And I remember that time in Vegas, I was just drunk and high off most of that day from just the different activities with my friends back then. And late that night, after some time in the casinos and just getting really drunk, I just wasn't feeling right. And I remember just feeling uneasy and feeling uneasy about myself. And I remember just thinking like, I need to go back to my hotel room and just lie down. And then so I go back to my hotel room, and I remember just as I'm about to just, you know, doze off, my mom texts me, and she texts me two messages. One of the messages said, "Hey, how are you, son?" And the second said, and where are you? Right? Very peculiar kind of text to be sending to me. And it was like late at night too, like early morning late. And like she never texts me at that time. And for some reason, those two questions, how are you and where are you, just really made me start thinking about where I really was and how I really was in life. And it made me take a hard look at myself. And I just saw this clear picture of what I had become, you know, just strung out of my mind in this hotel room in Las Vegas, right? Just this is how I was living my life. And, you know, before this, even me and my mom, we hadn't really spoken many years, you know, and she told me many years after I came back, she said, you know, I was always praying for you up till late at night. And that night when I texted you, that I just had this sudden urge that I need to just text him that right now.
Wow.
And yeah, so after that text, I remember calling my mom. I told her, Mom, I'm in Vegas and I'm not feeling right. And I told her pretty much everything. And the first thing she told me, you know, she said, you just need to come back to God, and God still loves you, right? Wow. And then we hung up, and I just decided that I needed to call Isaiah. And, you know, Isaiah, surely, my friend, he can help me make sense of whatever I was feeling in that moment. So
yeah, wow.
Give him a call.
So like what happened? I mean, you call Isaiah, it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., like did he even pick up? And
yeah, from then on, yeah, I called him, he picked up, and I just explained everything to Isaiah. You know, I told him that, hey, you know, I'm in Vegas, I'm just like high out of my mind right now, and I've been living this way, this reckless lifestyle for some time now, and I feel like, you know, I've come to an end of myself. You know, I feel like I've just hit a wall, you know, like, because I know that there's no satisfaction or fulfillment that this life that I'm living, this way I'm living, is gonna bring any fulfillment or satisfaction. And he said simply the same thing as my mom said to me, that I just needed God, that I needed church. And I remember him praying for me. I always remember that prayer, and I remember him praying that I would drop everything that I was doing and just come back home, come back to the church, and maybe we could figure something out. And yeah, after that conversation, I just told him, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, and we just hung up. Yeah.
So Isaiah, 2 a.m. in the morning. What is going on in your mind as Byron is saying all this to you?
Yeah, it was a little surreal. It was like totally out of the blue. I mean, we didn't see each other that much at that time. We were still in contact, but, you know, he lived far away, so we saw each other pretty rarely. And I think at that time we hadn't talked for like 3 months, I want to say. It was like a weird mixture of emotions. I was like really excited, but also like worried and kind of skeptical. But I think like kind of had this sense of awe, like, whoa, it just feels like God is doing something. And I remember after we talked, you know, I hung up the phone and I was just praying that, yeah, he would just come right now, that he wouldn't wait till morning, that he wouldn't change his mind, he wouldn't get cold feet, that he would just come. Yeah. And I just remember I had this sense that if he could just make it back here, if he could just physically like get his body over here, then like the people of God could come around him and things would be okay and we would figure something out. And so I just remember praying that prayer, like, God, just get him back here no matter what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did.
Yeah, here you are.
I came back, and I came back the next day, and then Isaiah just took me straight to church the next day. It was just really weird.
From
right?
Vegas to church.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Byron actually has a song about this for us, just kind of reflecting on that fast lifestyle that he was chasing and that feeling of just hollowness and emptiness that night. And so, yeah, Byron, take it away, man.
Yeah. This is Under Sense. So maybe money, money. Maybe money don't make things alright. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. So maybe money don't make things alright. Yeah. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. So maybe power don't make things alright. Yeah. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. So maybe power don't make things alright. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. He been trapping out since 2004, man. A young dawn in his head, yeah, he just a YOLO, man. He wanna travel the globe, but he just don't know, man. Playing for keeps and wrestling for his young soul, man. Spend all the money on a Molly, coke that OG tree. Rather get stoned and just kick it, he thinks he's living free. Distracted by shiny things, fast life in the mass media. Dreams on the yacht, baddie chick, his name on Wikipedia. I've been thinking too fast, moving too fast. Gas pedal, low on the gas, pull up, turn 180, turn the quarter, need to slow it down. Maybe need to slow it down and calm. Slow these motions to these emotions. He calms the storm in the ocean to me. Few puffs a cigarette and breathe and let me free. Breathe and let me free, yeah. But we know time waits for no man. Tomorrow ain't promised. What you gonna live for? I'ma live for God, to be honest. Ain't taking no hiatus. Why y'all acting so reckless? Erratic child since day one. Gifted love since day one. To a future better me. No more miserable tears. I used to drink so heavily to take away all the fears. But that's
life, tough life, that's life, huh?
Hey, but that's life, tough life, that's life, huh? But that's life, tough life, that's life, huh?
But that's life, tough life, that's life, huh?
So maybe money don't make things alright, yeah. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. So maybe money don't make things alright, yeah. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. So maybe power don't make things alright, yeah. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright. So maybe power don't make things alright, yeah. Maybe glamour and the shine don't make things alright.
But that's life, tough life, that's life, huh?
But that's life, tough life, that's life,
But that's life, tough life, that's life,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm chasing dollar bill was blue, now I'm white collar worker. Now pray Lordy, Lordy, save my soul. Now kingdom minded worker, I'ma lead me, fight the machine. Shining, heard and seen, you can make a difference. Like Mr. Martin Luther King. Yeah, active villain, activision. Where's the mind, where's the mission? Prideful thugging, boast of vision. So divine, you're so division. Tipsy and you're loaded still. Self-esteem was low, so chill. Let the drugs, I popped the pill. I pray the song and hit 1 mil. Tunnel vision. Made too many bad decisions. Where's the save? Catch a ride a wave. Lordy save, yes he saves. Cause he saves, cause he saved me, cause he saved me, yeah. Rain in me, yeah. Rain in me low, yeah. Rain in me low, yeah. Rain in me, yeah. Rain in me low, yeah. Rain in me, Rain in me low, yeah. Rain in me, yeah. Oh, rain in me, oh, rain in me, Lord, yeah. Oh, rain in me, yeah. Rain in me, Lord, yeah. Oh, rain in me, yeah. Rain in me, low, rain in me, low, yeah.
Man. So good, man. So good. So Byron, like, what was it like coming back? I mean, that must have been hard, you know? So what was hard about it? What helped you get through it?
Yeah, you're right. It was really hard. It was, honestly, it was just really weird too, you know, being gone for almost 10 years. But I remember coming back, it was weirdly familiar, weirdly home, but also just very strange and different because lots changed, right? Through the years, church had become bigger, so much more people around. And I think I just felt very insecure and awkward at first because, you know, I often really debated if I should just stay or if I should just leave. And then I remember just thinking, but if I leave, then where am I gonna go? Because I had, you know, made up in my mind that I'm gonna leave my old life and I want to start new. But I had mixed feelings too because I wasn't sure if this church was where I wanted to start new. And I remember even talking to his dad, you know, and about how I felt. And telling him, man, I feel so insecure and I feel like I just want to leave. And he said, don't leave, you know, just give it 6-9 months, stick it through, and you'll see everything will feel familiar again. And then your parents let me move into the place that I used to always go when I was a kid, right? And now I'm living with their parents, and I remember just from then on, just kept coming out to Sundays and just kept getting to try to know people. I got plugged into this small group even, led by a leader that I really got to know and really got close with him too. I got to know the small group that he was leading, and I think God couldn't have put me in a better small group, because as I got to know each of these guys, there's 3 different guys, 4, but each of them had a different story, and each of them was struggling with something, really hard.
Yeah.
And they were all very dysfunctional in their own ways, right? So I didn't feel like I was the only dysfunctional person. So, and in fact, we even called ourselves the dysfunctional small group, right? And I think just knowing that helped us to draw closer to each other. That helped us, and just through my leader just opening up his home and just hanging out with me and hanging out with these guys, I saw what life was like in the church, what it looked like. I saw God's love in action through the people at the church, through my small group, through my mentor at the time, through living at your parents' home. And I think that really caused me to start to be really curious as I just witnessed all around how people were living in the church. And I was just curious just to see why people would live for someone, something that you can't see, someone you can't see, invisible, right? And something about the church, the way they lived life and the way they devoted time to God, created this hunger and this desire to know more. And I just wanted to know why it was so captivating about following God. And so I think from then I just allowed myself to be taught, allowed myself to be led, and I slowly just opened up. And, what did I have to lose, right? Because I already felt like I had come to just the very end of myself and lost everything, left that old life. And I think, and during that time, there was a verse that really stuck out to me. It was Jeremiah 29:13. It says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart." And so I think I really just took that verse seriously, and I put it to the test, and I just, okay, I'm gonna see. And just like your dad said, after about 6 months, I hit the 6-month mark, and that's when I made my decision to rededicate my life to Christ.
Man, wow.
And I remember it being a very tearful rededication as I came before God and the church and all God's people, right, and to my leader at that time. And I remember just telling my story and repenting of everything I had done. And I remember seeing very clearly my brokenness and my sins and how that hurt God. And I remember seeing how God still loved me still, by sending his son Jesus to die for my sins because of how much he loved me. He loved me so much he couldn't bear the fact that I'd be lost to the world in my addictions and forever apart from him, right? And I saw that God is for me, not against me. And that when I live in his will, by living surrendered to my own preferences, my rages, my addictions, my own lusts. And when I do life with the church, it's the best life you can live. And now I'm living a life, caught up in love rather than living a life caught up in myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, man. Wow. That is amazing. Yeah. So now you're a Christian.
Yeah.
How's that been, man?
Now I'm Christian. And to be honest, it's one word to describe how it's been is it's been a journey. And to be honest, a hard one at most. But also, it's been the most beautiful. It's hard because everything in you wants to fight against trusting in God, because you're so used to trusting in yourself. I was so used to most of my life trusting in only myself, right? And look where that led me. And it's hard because you don't just become a saint after you become a Christian, right?
No, you don't.
No, I had to learn the hard way. There's a lot of work, a lot of changes I needed to make because there were so many bad habits I had formed throughout those years. So I had to really dig through the baggage and correct those behaviors. And it's beautiful because through it all, I know that I'm loved. Through it all, that I know that I'm loved by the church and accepted by God, right? He has blessed my life, and he's given me so much more than I deserve. I've turned my life around. I'm no longer living a life of fear, no longer living in shame. I have the body of Christ to go through life with. I don't have to go through life feeling alone and isolated anymore.
Man, that's awesome. That's so good. That's so good, man. You actually you're a family man now,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I eventually got married. I have a child now. I have a
Dude.
baby boy. He's 3 months old.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I never thought any of that would happen either.
Yeah, man.
But
praise God.
yeah,
All right. Well, to end tonight, I just want to ask, like, what's for both of you guys? What's one thing that you feel like God taught you through this experience? Like, what would be one thing you would want to say to the people watching right now? You know, about just this whole story.
yeah. I think, I want to say this, that God is not trying to take things away from you. He is for you. He loves you very much. Trust in that. And if he is real, then he will hear you, right? So talk to him whenever you feel misunderstood, whenever life is hard. Just talk to him. Just pray. You have nothing to lose, and you have a soul that's gonna last for all eternity. And God, he's gonna be relentless. He's gonna keep pursuing you. So don't keep rejecting him. Just give him a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, one thing I saw through this whole journey was just the power of like the people of God when it's working right. So I think when Byron came back, like what he needed was not what I could offer alone, you know, from myself. Like he needed way more than that. He needed a larger community. He needed the body of Christ, and that's really what I saw. Just a lot of people coming around him, you know, whether that be like those conversations with my dad, or you know that dysfunctional small group that became kind of your lifeline, or even like random older people. Like I remember like Jeff Liu going with you and helping you throw away your old phone with all the contacts with those bad friends. Yeah, you were not happy about that.
I hated him.
And
for
he
a
just
while.
like bought you a new phone on the spot, and just different things like that. Where just it wasn't anything one person could have done, right? But there was a
Yeah.
lot of people working together, and just seeing Byron kind of get like rebuilt and restored almost, and just being like, wow, that was awesome. That was a God thing that could not have been done by just me or any one of us. And I don't know. I think if you're a Christian out there and you're listening to this, my message to you is just don't give up on hope for your friends, right? Keep on hoping, keep praying. God may be weaving a story that you have no idea you're even like allowed to hope for.
Wow.
Right? But you'll miss out on it if you give up too soon. So keep praying, keep hoping.
Wow. Yeah. Well, on that note, we've got one last song for the night. And I think it's really appropriate to end this night with this song. This is a song that actually Byron wrote for Isaiah's wedding. So
Yeah, it was just supposed to be for that wedding. So
yeah, a little embarrassing for Isaiah, but that's okay. I love the lyrics. It says, love and grace, it will always win. Mercies of God, they will never end. I think that captures just your story really well, the story of how God worked to rescue you from your old life through this friendship, through the church, and how even though you ran away from God, God kept pursuing you. He had mercy on you, and he continues to have mercy on you, and he has mercy on all of us, right? So let's end with this song, which I learned today. So good luck.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, here goes.
One, two, three, four. Love and grace, it will always win. Mercies of God, they will never end. And through it all in suffering, I got you, my brother, always.
Through thick and thin.
I remember in Joyland we were kids playing around, making forts out of chairs when adults went around. We used to sing songs about Jesus and learn about God, then go to your house just to read Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah. And from Joyland days, all the ways of Element, young and reckless and a little bit arrogant, punching each other's arms to see who was tough. Wrestling and fighting, we always like to play rough. Yeah. And I remember our mission trip that really changed our lives. We were out in Mexico to evangelize, praying for all the different people that we met. Man, what a crazy trip I'll never forget. And when we all made commitments together, it was that time when we all felt like we were brothers. That moment in time we all felt so alive. And through our new lives we weren't afraid to testify. Yeah, to testify. Love and grace, it will always win. Mercies of God, they will never end. And through it all in suffering, I got you, my brother, always.
through thick and thin.
And as we grow older, there were burdens on our shoulders. As time went on and the world got a little colder. You went God's way and I went mine, but you never wavered, yeah, you walked the line. And fast forward a few years and college hit. I got caught up in parties, drugs, and relationships. And you stayed faithful, keeping your faith alive. Yeah, I sought the world, but in God you thrive. It's like we were twins doing the opposite things in different paths and ways that we were chasing. And more than a year ago, I would have been stuck in the same place if it wasn't for your love and through God's good grace. And it was through your faithfulness and love for me. God used you through one phone call to rescue me. And I'll never forget that night that we talked, cause I wouldn't be standing here today, watch both of you walk. Love and grace, it will always win. Mercies of God, they will never end. Through it all with suffering, I got you, my brother, always. Through thick and thin, love and grace, it will always win. Mercies of God, they will never end. And through it all been suffering, I got you, my brother, always. Through thick and thin.
All right, man. Solid. Well, that's all we have for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of A2CN Live. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, follow our Instagram at A2CN. And of course, again, check out Byron on Spotify. His new album is out, Reclaim Souls. Have a good weekend, everybody.